Kia ora, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news. American inflation is now at 5% in a sudden new jump. But first, last week's jobless claims came in very much as expected and very similar to the level of the prior week. There are now 3.3 million people on these programs and a 5% reduction in 1 week. They still have some way to go to get back to pre-pandemic levels, but most of the progress to this goal has been made. The American CPI inflation rate touched 5% in May and well above the 4.7% expected and well above the April level of 4.2%. That is a 13-year high. This result was essentially driven by the energy sector, but without that, the result, less food and energy, was still 3.8% rise. And a good part of that was caused by their booming used car market. Because of these odd drivers, it is easy to see why policymakers might still look through these results. The Fed is meeting next week, and how they view the inflation track will be likely a key discussion topic. The US federal government reported a May deficit of $132 billion and far less than the $399 billion recorded for May 2020. For the full 12 months to May, the federal deficit is now $3.3 trillion, or 15% of US GDP. External federal debt is now $22 trillion, or about as much as the annual US economic output. But away from the public sector, American household net wealth is surging, and their net worth is now at $137 trillion, or 6.5 times as much as their annual US economic output. China issued new data for its May level of new yuan loans in its social financing release overnight. These came in slightly above the expected level at 1.5 trillion yuan, and very similar to the April loan growth amount. We are inured now to these fast debt expansion in China these days, but local policymakers are nervous. In Australia, their June survey of inflation expectations rose from 3.5% in May to 4.4% in June, and its highest level since February 2020. In contrast, wage growth expectations there remain unusually low. And the bond markets are spooked today for some reason. The US Treasury 10-year yield starts today down another 8 basis points at 1.45%. And the price of gold starts today at $1,895 an ounce, and that's up $2 overnight. Oil prices start today a little firmer at just on $70 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is just on $72 a barrel. These are levels we haven't seen since May 2019. Just over a year ago, this price was $18 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar opens today little changed at just under 72 US cents. Against the Australian dollar, we've fallen to 92.8 Australian cents, and against the euro, we're unchanged at 59.1 euro cents. That means our trade-weighted index starts today at 73.5 and about where it was this time last week. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.